When I married my wife, I believed I had found the person who would stand by me through every storm. We had a simple life together, nothing too glamorous but built on the values of trust, love, and loyalty, or so I thought. 4 years, I worked hard, thinking every sacrifice I made was for our shared future. She always told me she was proud of me, but I didn't realize those words had started losing meaning. It began with little changes. She stayed out late under the excuse of meeting her friends, and her phone became a private object she kept close even at night. At first, I ignored it, convincing myself I was just overthinking. After all, suspicion destroys marriages, and I didn't want to be the reason ours broke. But her behavior grew stranger, and my gut told me something was terribly wrong. One evening, she came home distracted and overly sweet, almost as if she was trying to cover something up. When I asked how her day was, she gave vague answers. I decided to stay silent but kept my eyes open. My instincts told me that the woman I trusted was hiding something, and soon enough, I found out I wasn't wrong. Through a friend, I learned she had been secretly meeting not just one man but several. 4 different men, to be exact. The shock hit me harder than I can describe. My knees almost gave out when I heard the details. The woman I shared my home and life with was spending her time and emotions elsewhere, betraying me in ways I couldn't imagine. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I decided to wait and see how far she would go. It wasn't long before she announced news that was supposed to be joyful. She was pregnant. My heart should have leapt with happiness, but instead, suspicion burned in my chest. I remembered what I had learned, and suddenly, her announcement felt like a cruel joke. When she looked me in the eyes and said, "This is your baby," I felt my world tilt. She wanted me to believe it was mine. Her tone was confident, almost rehearsed, but I couldn't bring myself to accept it blindly. I realized she expected me to raise a child that could easily belong to someone else. That betrayal cut deeper than anything. I didn't explode in anger. Instead, I pretended to accept her words, nodding and forcing a smile. She thought she had fooled me, but inside, I was planning my next steps. If she thought she could cheat, lie, and trap me into raising a child that wasn't mine, she had underestimated me completely. The first thing I did was quietly gather evidence. I collected phone records, messages, and even witness statements. The truth was painful to uncover, but it was also empowering. With every piece of proof I found, my resolve hardened. I wasn't going to be the fool in this story. When the right time came, I confronted her. I laid the evidence on the table one piece at a time. Her face drained of color, her hands shook, and she stammered excuses that sounded weak even to her own ears. She finally broke down, admitting what she had done but still insisted that the baby was mine. I told her the truth. I no longer believed a single word she said. She cried, begged, and tried to shift the blame, but my decision was already made. I told her I would not raise a child conceived from her betrayal. I told her she had destroyed every bit of trust one had in her and that our marriage was finished. Watching her realize she had lost control was the first taste of revenge. I filed for divorce and included all the evidence I had gathered. Her lies were exposed in front of family, friends, and even the court. The image she had worked so hard to maintain shattered like glass. People who once respected her looked at her with disappointment, and she had no one to blame but herself. The pregnancy, which she had thought would bind me to her forever, became her downfall. Instead of trapping me, it freed me. Everyone saw her for who she truly was, a cheater who tried to deceive her own husband. I walked away with my dignity intact while she was left to deal with the mess she had created. My revenge wasn't about shouting or fighting. It was about letting the truth speak louder than any of her lies. I made sure she couldn't manipulate me into raising another man's child. I showed her that actions have consequences, and betrayal cannot be hidden forever. Life after the divorce wasn't easy, but it was peaceful. I rebuilt myself piece by piece, stronger than before. The wound she left on my heart will always be there, but so will the lesson. Trust is precious, and once broken, it can never be repaired. My revenge wasn't just against her, it was my way of reclaiming my life. And so, I moved forward, free from the chains of her lies, leaving her to live with the weight of her choices. She wanted me to play the fool, but instead, I turned her betrayal into her greatest regret.